but we thought let's give a little bit insights to the users and show them that electrification can also be fun.
Hello everyone and welcome to another SCS on the Road episode. Today we are here in Aachen, in the city of Aachen in Germany at Trailer Dynamics workshop facility, and here with me is this amazing person. Sir, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Abdullah Yawa. I'm one of the managing directors and the founder of this company.
Oh.
My background is a little bit crazy. So I'm not an engineer, I'm a physicist. And you know, when you are a physicist at the end of your studies, you can, on the one hand, decide to go be taxi driver or do amazing stuff, right?
And do anything.
Yeah, and it was just by accident that we started with efficiency of trucks, and we knew, I think 10 years ago, where the legislative framework is going towards zero-emission vehicles. And one interesting bet that we had was that batteries are the technology that will take part at this, let's say, future, but also that batteries are heavy and that the energy capacity is not big enough. And so we thought, what could be a solution to increase the energy capacity? And one solution
transportation
would be,
and trucks.
and put the battery as part of the drivetrain into the trailer, because the trailer has the packaging capacity and also the payload capacity to carry heavy batteries.
Okay, so you decided not to go for a taxi driver, but to do amazing things.
Yeah.
And you guys kind of did, right? Can you tell us, what do we have here? Like, imagine that I don't know anything about it, and can you explain it to me?
So I think you guys have seen this kind of trailers everywhere on the road. Yeah, that's all the main European trailers.
Krone trailers, yes.
Krone trailers, absolutely. And they are combined with trucks, right, and are used as the backbone for transportation in Europe. And what we have here is one of the models that Krone is selling. It is a dry liner, so it's mostly used by postal services.
I can already tell from the rear that few things on the trailers are not that common.
Yeah,
something is new, right?
Yeah. So you see here a heat exchanger, and that is due to the reason that we have a drivetrain here.
So the trailer has a drivetrain.
The trailer has a drivetrain, absolutely. And if we go there, we can see actually that one of the axles looks a little bit strange.
The middle one.
The middle one.
Yeah.
True.
Is it always the middle axle?
If you have two axles, it will be then one of both.
Okay.
If you have just
Makes
one
sense.
axle, But in this configuration, the standard trailers, it's mostly the middle, because it's the most. It's the axle that is less stressed from all of them, because it is now stressed by 800 horsepower that we have here in addition to the normal truck.
800.
800, yeah, and up to 15,000 newton meters. So you can actually do burnouts with the trailer.
Can we see that?
Yeah, we can. I have some videos at TikTok. We can show that absolutely. And you see some marks here on the road, on the floor. So what we have also is a battery, a very huge one. So it's 6 times as big as the biggest Tesla battery in their vehicles, 600 kilowatt hours in this case. Combined with all electronics that you can imagine are in every electric vehicle. You have a charger, you have DC-DC converters, you have an onboard computer, a VCU, a lot of communication. And I think one very interesting, or the most important part that we have here at this vehicle is actually the coupling, the kingpin, that is censored. It can feel if the truck is pulling or not. So that it is very similar to an e-bike. You know, e-bikes have also kind of sensor in.
I don't know. I didn't know.
And they have to anticipate what actually the bicycle driver wants to do. If he wants to accelerate, yes or no. And the same principle is here.
So basically, the amazing thing you guys created, because you were already thinking into the future, like you said, that the push for sustainability and for better future for the environment and for the planet is going to be like to all of us and switching into electric, not only for personal cars but also the transportation. And you kind of were aware that the electric trucks are making total sense inside city deliveries and everything, short distances because of the capacity of battery. But you were thinking ahead that how can we make it work for even highway?
Comparable to the normal diesel use cases, right? And just to give you some numbers, so we have here an amazing Volvo electric truck, but it can cover only 210 to 250 kilometers in distance when it's fully loaded, and that is not sufficient compared to what diesels can. What is really amazing is that the main goal that we want to achieve is actually efficiency and range. So you can combine it also with diesel trucks, and your diesel consumption goes down from 30 liters per 100 kilometers towards 13. So that is really a lot.
It's more than half.
Yeah. And the reason is because the driving resistances are divided 40% for the truck, 60% for the trailer. So overcoming 60% is really doing a lot. We are promising our customers 40%.
Even 40% is like a massive improvement, right?
Yeah. But we can mostly do more. The other point is, combined with battery electric trucks, you can have this range. And if you go to the Autobahn, if some guys out there are driving battery electric passenger cars, they will see a lot of charging infrastructure here in Germany, for example, but you will never find charging infrastructure for big trucks. It's not true. Not there. Yeah?
True.
And with the eTrailer, you can really make it happen that you can cover distances of 600, 700 to 800 kilometers.
Can you tell us more how it actually works? So I guess.
So what we have here is we have two electric motors. Okay. Each one is driving one of the tires, right, or the wheels. We have the battery electric, let's say, batteries that are storing the energy, and we could do recuperation, but the energy demand, as we claim, right, and our ambition is to cover huge distances. So recuperation alone doesn't do the work. It is just some 3-4% that we can gain. So you have to charge it. We have to charge us at the
So I can see a few more differences on the middle axle, because the middle axle, as you said, is the one axle that is being run by the engines. And I can also see different tires on that.
Yeah, true.
Can you tell me the reason?
So the reason is that we have now traction. So normal axles are just pulled axles.
Yeah, that makes sense now.
Absolutely. And you have also higher weight. You have immediate torque. That is some electric thing, that if you have driven, let's say, Porsche Taycan or something like that, or Tesla.
Continuously.
Absolutely. So other requirements on to the tires, and we were really fortunate that Continental was able to do the modifications and the redesign of the trailer axle, so that we can now have tires for driven axles.
So the tire has a different pattern.
Absolutely.
To have better grip.
Absolutely, and a little bit reinforcement. It's very, very important to have this kind of utilization for battery electric applications.
The battery is stored here. Do you guys offer different capacity of batteries, battery sizes?
So we can see that at other vehicles we will have 3 different capacities. One will be a 600 kilowatt hour, 400 and 200, so it's a modular system.
What's the weight difference between?
Let's take for each step 1.5 tons.
Okay, so this configuration is how much more weight it adds up?
4.5.
4.5.
So you see here we have these 3 modules already.
There are actually 3 of them. So it's like one.
No.
One complete one. Okay.
And you can choose, right? Depends on your application what kind of capacity you need. If you're going for full loads, long distances, it is the choice. But sometimes if you are going middle distances, they need a
you don't
smaller
need
battery.
the biggest one, right? And you are always trying also to find the perfect balance between the range and the weight you can put on the trailer.
And the costs.
And the cost, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the battery is the most expensive part of this vehicle.
Do you guys, I believe you are running tests with this technology for ages now, for years.
Yeah.
Do you already know how many kilometers, how many hundreds of thousands or millions kilometers can the battery do before it needs to be replaced?
Absolutely. So it will have 8,000 full cycles, and each cycle is a day. So if you do the math, the battery will withstand 15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years.
Until an SOC or SOH, as we say, of 70%. But that is not just for the battery. Every part of this vehicle must kind of fulfill the expectations of our customers. And customers are using these vehicles roughly, the first customer 4 to 5 years, but in the end, trailers have a lifetime of 12 to 15 years, and that is what we want to keep up with, right?
I believe that one of the most impressive things for me is that this technology is working even with the diesel trucks, with the normal combustion engine trucks.
Every vehicle, and that the reason therefore is this pin that you see here.
On the first side, it doesn't look any different.
It is not different. So it is. We found a way how we can sensor the kingpin so that the kingpin can really feel
if it's
if
being
it's being
pulled or
even if it's going, if tilting, so on and so forth. Also for safety reasons. If the dynamics are getting a little bit strange, then the trailer goes back always in a safe state. It's okay, I'm out. Do whatever you like.
So it actually works. It's automatically. So the driver is not having some joystick in the cabin.
But in Australia,
so this concept is really not old. So in Australia, there is on road trains there are diesel-driven trailers, and they have like a jumbo jet, right? A lot of pulleys and so on to get this working. But here, it's like a normal trailer, just plug and play and let's go.
Oh yeah, when I'm seeing the front of the trailer, I also wanted to ask, because I believe I've seen here in your workshop also KRONE Cooliner.
Yep.
Does the battery also support the cooling unit?
Absolutely. And we have a stand-up time of more than 60 hours.
So it actually can help to keep the goods inside the trailer cool.
Emission-free, and also if you have congestions or any, let's say, situation where the vehicle has to stand for 1, 2, 3 days, it could support. Here are the chargers, right?
What kind of charger does
it? It is CC2, and it is just the chargers that you see from normal vehicles. You have DC or you can do AC charging. In this case, AC 44 kilowatts, DC 350 kilowatts, and we have a screen and some buttons that we can press just to get it working or stopping.
Can we also talk very briefly about the mission record run? Because we already have this paint job or livery in our game. And I believe I've seen your face in one of the KRONE's videos, because you are actually also the driver of this project, right? Can you tell us more about it?
Like the IAA 2020, we started, or KRONE started, with a claim beyond zero. What does it mean? And the reason was that other competitors were doubting that you have to do anything in the trailer because the trailer itself is not producing any emissions, right? It has no motor. But the truth is that trailers are causing emissions at the truck side because
of the weight
and their own driving resistances, right? So they just teased the other competitors with beyond zero. Yeah, we are reducing. If you are claiming, or we are putting this as a zero emission vehicle, as a conventional vehicle, then this one is also reducing, going beyond zero. So at some point, 2023, we thought, what can we do? So one idea was my wish to go for record runs from distance, efficiency, and so on and so forth. But Simon from the KRONE marketing convinced us that we have also to convince the drivers. So we had the feeling that we are convincing the owners already, but we thought let's give a little bit insights to the users and show them that electrification can also be fun. And he came up with the idea, let's go for these truck racing events and participate. So what are you talking about, right? We in the company, a lot of people were hesitation. No, what if something goes wrong? This will kill the company, right? And in the end, Simon won this debate, right? And we were at 4 events, I think, in Poznan, Nürburgring, and Jarama, in Italy.
What's the name of the track?
I've been
there. I've been
there.
Misano,
right.
It was that.
Cool. So and what really was amazing was that we were able to beat the lap time of the pace truck.
Beat the trailer.
With the trailer. So because we have the trailer, and even driving there, we had amazing distance records. We were having highest average speeds ever recorded. A lot of fun.
Nice.
And that was really, let's say, a nice experience to push the trailer to the limits, right? We were drifting at the truck.
You were driving it.
Absolutely, yeah. And it was really amazing, yeah.
Yeah. We've seen you there, we've been there, and we are already getting signals from our colleagues here that we should end this interesting episode because they need to scan this trailer because we are going to bring your amazing technology into our game as well. So even more people and younger people will be able to experience that, play with that in our game.
And older people as well. We have here also a lot of fans of your game.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
really.
Awesome. We can send you some of our merch for them later.
Do that.
Well, sir, thank you so much for all the information.
You're welcome.
For this episode, for the interview. And we will see you at the next episode.
Bye-bye.